the first step and reach out for tomorrow. Live so
Time for an unpleasant blind guy, Conservative Byte. There's been a lot of talk in the 2016 election about compromise, about candidates willing to make deals and reach across the aisle. And that all sounds really good. But there's an uncomfortable reality that I'd like to talk about. Since 1989, the presidents of the United States that we've had have been increasingly less and less conservative, regardless of their party, and more progressive. Each one in their turn willing to compromise less and less on the side of the people, and more on the side of the collective. Through the years, though we've had Republican Congresses, since the mid-1990s, more and more of the deal-making and reaching across the aisle has benefited the collective, the power elite, the political class, rather than the civil rights of the people. While occasionally those who represent progressivism are willing to appear to compromise on some issues, it is almost always done in a way that will benefit progressive leadership down the road. For progressives, it is always ever left, and increasingly for those who have called themselves conservative in our leadership, it has been ever left. Want some examples? Since 1989, our freedom of speech has been constantly compromised by political correctness and increased calls for European-style laws against so-called hate speech. Our right to self-defense through personal firearms are being slowly eroded by what progressives call common-sense gun laws. Our right to privacy has been replaced with logged phone calls and flag monitoring of texts and emails, unless you're a certain Secretary of State, of course. And the right to due process under the law is now something that the political class grants to their cronies. Ordinary Americans going about their lawful business need not apply. These examples only scratch the surface when it comes to the personal liberties that we've lost in the name of reaching across the aisle and compromising with the left. It's been said that if, as conservatives and people who defend personal liberty, we are not prepared to compromise, then the left will simply elect their own people who will compromise. The left compromising with the left. There are those in the big party Republican establishment who tell us that this is a good thing because it encourages people to vote for conservatives. But consider, when conservatives do win on this basis and continue the ever steeper arc of compromise to the left, what have the people won? In 2016 and in the future, we have to decide whether our principles are worth fighting for. I can guarantee you that progressives think their principles are worth fighting for. Compromise is a good thing when both parties are willing, but let's face it, the left has decided that not only do they not need to compromise, they're not going to compromise. Unless we, as conservatives and as people of other political persuasions who love personal liberty, are prepared to draw a line in the sand and say this far and no farther with our rights under the Constitution, and unless we elect candidates that reflect those views, we will have only two choices: whether our republic and the personal liberties of the people die faster or slower. This has been an unpleasant blind guy, Conservative Byte.